Hello, everyone, and welcome to this installment on our spiritual pathways here at St. Michael's. I'm here with Doreen, the Spiritual Pathways Coordinator, and Sue, who is our Coordinator of Christian Formation and so many other things. And in this session, we're going to talk about the learning pathway, the learning spiritual pathway. And I want to mention a really wonderful opportunity that we have coming up next month. Starting in December, we are going to begin a grief support group that's called Beyond the Broken Heart. And Wayne and Kathy Lumans, who have been using some materials called Understanding Your Grief, are going to be leading a session for those who have experienced a loss in their life recently, or maybe a while back, or maybe you know someone who's experienced a loss who would really benefit from coming together and having a group to be able to talk about their grief and to learn a little more about how grief works and how healing works. And so I really encourage you, if this is something that you would benefit from or somebody else, to check out our grief support group, Understanding Your Grief, and to sign up for that. So now, what else do we have on the learning pathway, Doreen?
Well, I don't know. I suspect both of you are similar to me in that you are lifelong learners, as I am. I hope never to be done until the end of my life, because there's always something to learn. And fortunately, if you like to learn, we have plenty of choices on your journey. So we'd like to talk about some of those. Sue, maybe you'd like to talk about the youth and children and what we have to offer there.
Sure. We're very excited that we now have a part-time youth minister, Shelley Lunsford, and she has started a youth program. It meets at the same time that our Messy Church for kids and families meet, so it's very convenient. And our next one is coming up this Sunday, November 16th at 5 o'clock. And Shelley does a wonderful job engaging with the teens. Just took them go-karting last Monday. They had a great time with that. But it's really a chance for teens to put down their phones and engage with each other, engage with other adults, and talk a little bit about their faith. This month they're going to be talking about Advent, and a lot of them might not even know what Advent is. So it's a great opportunity for teens. We encourage anyone who's in middle school or high school, if you know of someone, to encourage them to reach out and be a part of this. And then our kids and families are involved in many ways. You might not see them in the pew on Sunday morning, but that doesn't mean that they're not a part of St. Michael's. They definitely are. Messy Church is a program. It's a worship experience, but in a way that's very conducive to families who might not walk through the church doors every week, but they certainly feel that they are a part of St. Michael's and they have an experience of God that they so appreciate every month when they come to Messy Church. We have a celebration time, we have learning activities, and then we share a meal together and bless that meal and share it together. So that's an opportunity. We also have an after-school program on Wednesdays that both of these folks have had the privilege of chaperoning and swinging. Doreen was swinging on the swing set at the park yesterday with the kids. It's just a great way for, again, the kids to be engaged with each other, with other adults of faith, and learn a little bit about what's it like to live in community, and basics like things like the Ten Commandments and manners. We're learning, teaching them a lot of things. So children and youth and families are very much a part of St. Michael's, and we're so appreciative of that.
You know, we were talking today a little bit about community service and engagement of our children and youth in that, the opportunities that they have here at St. Michael's because of our engagement in the community. And that certainly is a way to learn about giving, which is part of our spirituality. So I don't know if you want to say any more about that, but we were talking about that this morning.
Absolutely, it's been great. The teens that need service hours, we always have lots of opportunities. At the recent Love Sanibel gathering, we were the men who were serving the hot dogs said we couldn't have done it without Aiden, who was one of the teens who came that we didn't even know, but he came and asked. He needed some service hours, and he opened up all the hot dog bags, and they just had a great time with him. So there's plenty of opportunities to be a part of service.
Yeah, and Bill, I know there are a lot of opportunities for adults. There's a men's group, a women's group. There's groups that are open to anyone. Tell us a little bit about those opportunities.
Yeah. So men's group meets the second and fourth Tuesday of the month at 8:30 a.m. in the library here, and also on Zoom. We have men that Zoom in regularly, and we typically have a topic that we discuss, or we have a speaker. This last men's group earlier this week, we had Wendy Warner, who has served in the Air Force, in the nursing corps of the Air Force. She came and told a little bit of her story on Veterans Day, and it was really a wonderful way to think about our service members and to hear Wendy's story and all of the wonderful service that she's done for our country. So those are the kind of things that we talk about with Men's Fellowship. The other thing that is one of my favorite times of the week is our Thursday morning Bible study. Every Thursday morning at 10 a.m. we have a Bible study. It meets on Zoom because we have several folks that don't live in Southwest Florida that are regular attenders. It started on Zoom during the pandemic, and it's continued. And it really is one of the highlights of my week. We go over the Sunday scripture readings. We go over the readings from the lectionary. I give a little bit of the culture and context, when it was written, who it was written by, who it was written for. But it really is an open discussion and reflection on those scripture readings. And the people who attend will tell you that they get more out of the Sunday service when they attend Bible study, because they've had a chance to hear those scripture readings, to learn a little about them, to share about them in community. You know, we talk about what do you hear in this? How does this strike you? How does this speak to us now? And I think people really find it a fruitful time together. I certainly know I do. It's one of the highlights of my week, and it's a great way to prepare for Sunday. So those are several of the opportunities that we have going on an ongoing basis for people to come together for learning.
Well, you know, I'm thinking about folks who may be watching from the community who are wondering, well, what's St. Michael's about? Who are we? And would I be welcome to join a group? And what is it going to be like if I decide, if I'm curious and I want to explore? So I do think everyone has a spiritual part of ourself, our being, but if somebody comes, are they going to be indoctrinated? Are they going to be welcomed? What could they expect? What would that feel like for them?
Yeah, so for the Thursday Bible study, we have people that just sit and listen. And that's what I would encourage you to do. If you're curious but kind of wondering what this is all about, just zoom in and listen and see if this is something that you find fruitful. If you're wondering about the grief support group and what's that going to be about, you could certainly look at the materials. You could come in and take a look, see how it's laid out, see what the approach is, and say, yeah, that sounds like it was something that I might get something out of, and I'd like to participate in this. So there are always ways. I'd always be open to sitting down and visiting and talking to anybody that wants to talk about any of our programs or anything here about the life of St. Michael's.
And a lot of our learning programs are online. Mm-hmm. So, for example, Wendy's presentation, the recent presentation that Episcopal church women did on financial planning for women, that's all recorded and it's on our website. So you can take a look at that and you'll get a sense of what those presentations and programs are like.
Well, and I love that you just said what you said, and for both of you, and I can say this, I think with confidence, is that you are both so welcoming to our community and so accessible and available because you love people. And we at St. Michael's love people, but I love that you extended that invitation for somebody to meet with you, because in our journey, we have a lot of questions. So thanks for offering that.
And some people have been hurt on the journey, and
That's
it
right.
can help to sit down and talk about that. And always happy to do that.
That's perfect. Well, thank you both for sharing, and we hope that you join us on one of the learning pathways.